I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you here with
No
two
problem.
angles. I have a very close friend of mine. He's like an elder brother. It's his birthday today. His name is Nikhil Kamath. He
On
also,
Teacher's Day.
yeah. Uh,
Mm.
and I've learned a lot about growing up from him. He's an elder brother figure. He gives me advice. He
How
runs
old
his
is he?
6 years older than me.
Hmm.
Uh,
36, 37.
yes. Very, very well read, knowledgeable person. I don't think he's atheist. I don't even think he's agnostic. I do believe that in his core he's a seeker, but he won't say that himself out loud, according to me. On his own podcast, he was discussing God once, and he said something interesting. He said that if he asked one of his guests that if I put you in a box from the time you're born, and no one ever tells you about religion or God, and you grow up in that box, then as an adult, would you question the existence of God or divinity or that higher power? Now, that took me to a book I read a long time ago. It was called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. He spoke about the origins of the thoughts of God in hunter gatherers. Basically, when we were Stone Age people, where was the first thought of God that entered our heads? And he said that probably existentialism, thinking that, hey, why am I here? Why are these trees green? Why is the sky blue? Why am I hands and feet like this? These self-awareness based questions were probably what nomadic hunter-gatherers thought of. And that's where the concept of God got shaped up. It also parallelly takes me to Native American culture, which is much older than what we are told according to our textbooks. They
Red
had,
Indians.
yes, they had these underground temples that they had built out. And even, in Britain, we have the Stonehenge. So I think this concept of temples, God has been there since the Stone Age for human beings, for Homo sapiens. Um, my question is, how did we somewhere along the way figure Tantra? How did we start connecting these practices that we do with like Japmala or mantras to that Stone Age human existential question about the higher power, about divinity? And then on some level, I also know that it was the will of the deities to place those thoughts into our heads. Now, the thing is, it's taken 1,000 or more lifetimes for you to become what you are, Ma, and for me to become what I am. But if you go back to lifetime number one as a human being, we were probably Stone Age people just thinking about, oh, why is the sky blue? So I will just place all these thought bubbles in front of you. Coming back to what my friend Nikhil told me about that box theory. And that's where a lot of agnostic people actually get stuck on that question of God. In terms of people ask themselves that, am I conditioned into believing that there's a God? So let's talk about conditioning over 1,000 lifetimes, starting from the Stone Age. Or you can just tell me whatever you think of what I just spoke about. So there's no solid question here. It's just a discussion.
30, 40 years I have contemplated on this. Sri Vidya has such beautiful answers for all this. It's such a beautiful science, spiritual science.
You're also talking about conditioning, right?
I'm not going to talk about Sri Vidya.
Okay.
But what I'm going to say about, for your question, is inspired by Sri Vidya thoughts. Okay? God is an expression of collective consciousness. God is made in the image of man. That is what Bible says. God is made in the image of man. If you come to our way of, understanding God and all that, we have thousands of gods and all that. Let's not complicate that. We say God is an expression of collective consciousness. For example, I am a Devi Upasaka. As you said, if you are put in a box and then you grow up into adulthood. Now with the digital world, all interactions are happening and we know what is West, what is East and all that. But when nothing was of that sort was there, we were conditioned by this very concept of Godhood by our own environments. So, why God is like us? If you look at Bhagavati or a female deity, She is like another female. Plus, she has something more. We have two hands. She may have 6 or 10 or 12, 16, depending on the symbolism that is worked out in these images. Image of God is a good dharana. Dharana means focus or concentration in simple terms. But dharana is a technical word in yoga and Sri Vidya and all that. It's much more than that. So, this very concept of God is a mental manifestation. When I say this, I am not denying the extraordinary powers of divinity. This is how I am trying to perceive God in the human form. Or some people may want to see it in the form of a stone. Some people may see God in the sense something superior to me.
Yes.
As lightning, or rains, or sun, or moon, or a tree. In India, a big stone under a tree can become a god. How does it become?
Pran Shakti.
Exactly. I use my bhavana, power of imagination, kalpana, emotions, kalpana, bhavana, kalpana, put together. They are excellent two mental energies.
Emotions and
Imagination. Kalpana is imagination. So you imagine things. So this very concept of God, source, is in our own thought process, our emotions, and our imagination. I know it's very hard to accept for many people, but that's the truth.
But also divinity is the truth.
I am coming to that next.
Okay.
So I want to manifest God in different ways. This is exactly the reason so many hundreds and thousands of gods are allowed in this country. Because each one would be manifesting the God according to his or her karma, samskara, vasanas.
Vasanas. Once karma, got it. Samskaras are carryovers from lifetimes and your personality traits. What is vasana?
Vasana is that which resides in you. Meaning of vasana is, it also means smelling, but also it's a technical word used in Vedanta and yoga. Vasana, that which already resides in you, means what? We are born like that. For example, to make people, viewers understand, there is a incense stick which you have lighted and the fragrance is coming out of it, and the whole incense stick burns down. It's only ash left over and it's no longer burning, but still the fragrance is in the environment. This fragrance, after the action is over, that fragrance which still resides in this room can be compared to a vasana.
You know what I'm visualizing? Gut bacteria. Like in your gut, there's multiple different microorganisms, and that's an outcome of what you eat.
Hmm.
So if you go to America and have food that's grown there, your gut bacteria will slightly get altered. And I know I'm boiling down vasana, which is probably a much higher level thought, down to food.
No, it's not
No?
vasana. See, our mind is structured in such a way that there are 3 layers. And they are called Jagrata, Swapna, Sushupti. To simplify, unconscious mind, subconscious mind, and conscious mind. There is so much of interaction taking place among these 3 layers of the mind. There are memories, there are happy memories, bad memories, and there are so many emotions, thought processes continuously interacting with each other. That's called chitta, storehouse of everything. And in that, This vasana is the bedrock on which all these layers of the mind is residing. So, for example, a child, it doesn't know anything about sex. But as it grows up, when it reaches puberty, naturally the feeling of sex, everything comes from where? Modern science says it is, natural in the body, hormones, ye wo bolte hain. But yoga and spiritual path has another way of saying that these are the vasanas which are already there in you. That is how you are sent here.
Instinct?
No, it's much more than that.
Pre-programming?
Yes.
Okay. Like how...
At the DNA level.
Got it. Like how when you have a seed, you put it in the earth,
Yeah.
comes out, suddenly mangoes come out of that one seed.
So, neem fruit cannot come out of a mango tree, right? That
Gotcha.
connection, nature's law
Gotcha.
is there. So, these are the vasanas which always govern our external actions.
So, will a citizen of Ghana have different vasanas than a citizen of Afghanistan?
Vasanas are universal.
All human beings.
Yes,
Got it.
they are universal. But according to the environment in which you are brought up or you are born, you pick up lot of samskaras and karmas and all that. That makes a kind of a permutation combination for you to become what your personality is.
Okay. Coming back to the overarching conversation, what were these 3 points leading up to? You said that karma, vasana.
Karma, samskara, vasanas.
Yeah.
You know, what was I saying about that?
These 3 things determine something. You were...
Yeah, about the concept of God.
Yes.
So, in India, why there are so many gods? How democratic this concept of God is. For each samskara of that person, depending on as an outcome of the environment and the interactions with life, what he has already received as an image of his own self, according to that, he would choose the God.
Gotcha. Understood.
For a villager, a rustic who has not seen the world, who is not educated, but he has the same emotions, same thoughts. Thoughts, emotions, and samskaras, vasanas are universal. So he will be appealed. He gets appealed by certain kind of God. The appearance wise and all that. So in Karnataka, in the local sense, there are so many deities in the villages. In every state it is there. And only certain set of people get attracted to that God. And they go there with total trust and belief in that. And it works for them. So, every God is not made for everybody. Because we ourselves have created it from the mental image of it. Now, God is, according to Sri Vidya also, without name and without form. Name and form. Nama Rupa. Bhagavati is addressed as Nama Rupa Vivarjitayai Namaha in Lalita Sahasranama. She doesn't have a name. She doesn't have form. But we see both. We call her with so many. Sahasranama means 1000 names. And we see different forms of Bhagavati. I'm talking about just one God. Like that, thousands of God, thousands of forms, thousands of names, perhaps millions. Is it really needed? Yes, it is needed. Because it's ultimately doesn't matter how many gods are there. There's no reason to rationing it. Ultimately, what matters is what appeals to you so that your purpose of life is served through that God. So our concept of God is very democratic.
Gotcha.
And Nama and Rupa, we give. And in Bhagavati's Purana, Mahatmya, she says, I don't have name and form, but I take the human form out of compassion for the scattered mind. This is something very interesting. Scattered mind. If you want to attain the highest of Godhood, then your understanding of Nama and Rupa first gets shattered. I used to ask several questions to my Sri Vidya Guru. Then he used to say, do your sadhana. Keep doing it. Then the day will come when you will see that what Bhagavati, what you had thought of Bhagavati, doesn't remain the same when you go to higher realms of your meditation and practices and all that. And if you look at it, the kind of gods we create, including all gods, is also a mental conditioning. So if you want to see the mother goddess as Nama Rupa Vivarjita, without, devoid of name and form, you have to decondition yourself about that.
Does the deconditioning happen through practice?
Yes.
Right? So you practice and you keep climbing up the
Knowledge, jnana. Jnana which comes to you in silence. It's not taught.
Downloads.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed today's clip, make sure you check out these curated playlists that we've made especially for you related to the subject that was spoken about in this clip.